ayan Thank you very much. I'm the daughter of the late John and Delaware from Sibonga on St. Lawrence Island. My Yupik name is Famina. I'm a mother of 4 boys and also a grandmother. And my family is from Dialera and Bumuk Island. We have clans on our island. Each of our families, we all have lands that we use and count. And my mother and father had 6 children, and I'm the youngest. And I grew up in Sibonga, and I also grew up in Nome. And I came to Anchorage in October of 1991. And I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years, and after all my boys had gotten into school, I started taking computer classes thinking I'll get my degree in accounting. But my creator had another path for me. At that time, my first introduction to ACAT, Alaska Community Action on Toxics, where I'm an Environmental Health and Justice Program Director. Basically just a long name, but to me, I'm a community advocate. I share my people's story, and I also share the story of Annie Aloha, who was a former health aide. She started noticing a lot of cancer in our people. The Air Force came and established 2 bases on our island. We were the isolates of the North during the Cold War, and they occupied our island from the late 1940s until the 1970s. And Annie, she was a respected elder, and she started noticing a lot of cancer in our people, especially our families that are now displaced because of the military contamination at no escape. She started noticing a lot of cancers, no birth weight babies, miscarriages. And the other former Air Force bases on Gamble or other community on St. Lawrence Island. We have 2 villages where we have 800 people now. At one time we had 4 to 10,000 people. I've heard anywhere from 4 to 10,000. We at one time had 32 villages. Now we have 2 to 800 people. And Gamble today is on top of the wayside, the school, the playground, some of the homes, and some of the municipal buildings. And as part of a community-based participatory research project, ACAT was awarded in 2000 in collaboration with our leadership on the island. Because of Annie's concerns, this project began to do some sampling. We've hired and trained local people. We met with the leaders and communities to make sure that we heard their areas of concern, to make sure that they were part of the project, where we've identified PCBs, pesticides, heavy metals. And our families from Northeast Cape have 10 times higher PCB levels in the blood of our people. But on top of that, global contaminants, they're called persistent organic pollutants. Our communities like Sibonga and Gamble and others throughout the state, because of our reliance on our subsistence foods, we're some of the most highly contaminated population on the planet. We're finding very high levels of these persistent organic pollutants. Now, we don't have these words in our Yupik language. We don't have manufacturers or chemical plants on our lands. However, they're ending up in our backyard. So we did a traditional food study where we collected over 300 samples of everything done. And basically we're finding the food that has sustained my people for many, many generations and continue still today are basically killing my people. I have 4 family relatives here in Anchorage that are going through treatment for cancer. And these are disproportionate health effects that are caused by industries like the military and corporations that do not take public health into account. We have a human right to food subsistence. We prior informed consent. The military did not disclose all the contaminants that they abandoned at Murphy's Creek. And at Gamble, they dug big pits and buried everything. So these are illnesses never seen before. As Indigenous people, especially women and children, we're suffering multi-generational and deadly impacts of environmental contaminants and toxins that were unheard of in our communities prior to when the military came, and also industrialization, which include contamination in mother's breast milk, which is 4 to 10 times the levels found in a mother's body in some of our Indigenous communities. And also elevated levels of contaminants such as POPs and heavy metals in infant cord blood. Disproportionate levels of reproductive system cancers of the breast, ovaries, uterus, prostate, and testicles, including in young people. Increasing number of miscarriages and stillbirths, and high levels of sterility and infertility in contaminated communities. Our boys are getting feminized on the island. There was one time we had more girls born. You know, these are impacts from assault from these corporations that do not test the products that they're using. They do not take human health into account. As Diane mentioned, I had the opportunity to speak at the United Nations as an expert group member. And I don't consider myself an expert group. However, because I'm a mother and because it's personal, my dad died of colon cancer, I've had 3 miscarriages myself. It's very personal to me. So I challenged myself to learn about all these toxic chemicals that the military left on our island. They buried, that they abandoned. The global contaminants, how are we going to be up against multinational corporations? You know, who are, it's like David and Goliath. However, I've challenged myself. I don't have a degree. And when I had the opportunity to speak before the UN, it was Indigenous Women and Environmental Violence. All these health effects that I talked about are environmental violence. It was the first time ever environmental violence theme was presented at the UN. It was a rights-based approach in addressing impacts of environmental degradation on Indigenous women, girls, and future generations. It was submitted to the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. This meeting was combating violence against Indigenous women and girls. And I had the opportunity, and it was an honor to speak with Andrea Carmen, who's the International Indian Treaty Council. And these are issues that we're facing in our communities. And as a mother, I have 4 boys, and I have a granddaughter, and we have a lot of widows also in our communities, especially our families from Northeast Cape, whose husbands have died. You know, a knowledge that was passed on to her husband from many, many generations, his father, grandfather. He cannot pass on to his sons or daughters. You know, they have nobody to hunt for in these communities. So the theme of environmental violence, when it was presented at the UN, they got that theme, so it was included in a report. And so some of the other facts I'd like to share with you is according to the Arctic Monitoring and Assessment Program from 2009, Arctic indigenous populations have shown levels of contaminants in blood and breast milk higher than those found anywhere else on the earth. Some of the disproportionate effects to women and girls, since POPs are stored in fatty tissue, fat cells, which are endocrine disruptors, or they affect our hormones. And our Indigenous women